Hey guys, in this tutorial we're going to be talking about the VLookUp function, and the first thing to know is what the VLookUp function is. Well, VLookUp stands for vertical lookup, and we use it when we are trying to look something up. For instance, in this tutorial I'm going to be talking about two different examples, one which I've stored inside the Prezi itself, and the other will be referring to grades, and based on the grade percentage that you have, what grade level you'll receive. So for instance, we would use a lookup to decide, okay, well, based on your grade percentage, what letter grade should you get? So the first thing that we need to know in VLookUp is the lookup value. So again, if we're referring to this letter grade idea, we need to use your percentage. So we're saying look in cell, for instance, H7, and maybe H7 contains the student's grade percentage, like 87. Now, it doesn't have to contain a percentage, it can contain anything. That's just the example that we're talking about now. So the lookup value is the value or the cell that you're going to be comparing to the table that you've created. So the next part is the actual table that you're comparing the data to. Now, I will always give you the table. That will be presented to you, and I've got another example down here below. But again, for instance, if we were talking about the grade example, the table array would be the table that says a 100 to a 90 is an A, an 89 to an 80 is a B, a 79 to a 75 is a C, and so on and so forth. You're using that table to identify, okay, well, based on the student's percentage, this is going to be the grade that they get, or the letter grade that they're going to get. Now, you'll also notice that I've got dollar signs around my table array. Remember that the dollar sign represents an absolute cell reference. So the dollar sign in the B means that the B will stay the same, or the column will stay the same. And the dollar sign in front of the 20 means that the row will stay the same. And so we do it for both because we always want to use that same table. We don't want it to change as we use the fill handle and fill down. Also notice the comma that separates the clauses, just like our other functions. So the second example that we're going to look at is this table here. So the first thing that you're going to notice is this would be the table that I would give to you. And the left column we like to consider the criteria column. Two things about it. First, it has to be in ascending order, meaning that it goes from 0 to 10 or from low to high. It also only contains the lowest number in the range. So I would actually have given you 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, and 40 and above. And you would need to know to put in the lowest number. So for example, looking at this Excel spreadsheet here, this is what I would have given you. And then you would have taken that information and you would have put it here and identified the lowest numbers in those ranges. So again, the table array, when you type it into Excel, must be in ascending order or low to high, and it also must contain the lowest number in the range on the left side. No hyphens, no words, no nothing. So 0 would be the number there. On the right side, that's the answer column. So it can contain anything. So you don't need anything there. Now, looking back at our grade percentage and grade letter, so for instance, this is the table that I would give you. I might give you grade percent and then letter grade. And again, I would give you all the information. 100 to 90, 90 to 80, 80 to 75. I'm sorry, that's wrong. That's 79 to 75, 74 to 70, 60, and below. And so here are our different ranges, and so now we'll need to go in and I would give you the letter grades. I would say A, B, C, D, and F. So you have to take this table and you have to do these two things. You have to put it in ascending order, and you have to do the lowest number. So when I change this, I would actually say grade percent, and I would say 0 because 0 is the lowest number below 60. I would say 70 because 70 is the lowest between 74 to 70. And so you can see that I'm just kind of repeating that and putting those lowest numbers in. Then I would go in and say F, D, C, B, and A. So you can see how that changed once I gave it to you and how you actually put it into Excel. So this is what I would give you, and this is how you're going to change it. All right, so let's look at the next step in this process. So the last step, or the last clause, is going to be your column index number, and this is never going to change. So it says at the beginning, look in cell H7. Okay, and let's go back to the percentage option, or the letter grade option. So H7, let's say, says 87. Compare it to your table. And again, let's say that we're using this grade book example. So we're comparing it to this table. And then find the answer from column 2. So we always put a 2 here at the end. So H7 is our lookup value, what we're comparing it. Then we have our table, which is the table of information with dollar signs around it, comma 2, because the answer comes from the second column. So if we look at this, H7 would be 87. So we're looking here and we're figuring out, okay, well, 87 is less than 90, so it has to be between 80 and its highest number. Because remember, these are the lowest numbers in the range. So you want to be in the one that's equal to or is actually lower than what you're comparing. So 87 would go in the 80. And we want the answer from column 2. This is 1 and this is 2. And so the answer returned would be B. All right, well, hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I know this is one of the more challenging ones. So the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at an example together. So if you got a little bit confused, don't worry. But things to remember, your left column is the criteria column, can only contain the lowest number in the range, no hyphens or words. One thing that's not on here again is that it has to be in ascending order. The right column is the answer column. It can contain anything, and words should be in quotations. So that's it for the VLOOKUP. If you felt confused or you need more help, go ahead and do the activity and then come in and I can certainly help you with that. See you next time.